Motivational is a passionate and intentional advocate for empowering the girl child and creating spaces where individuals from all walks of life are seen, heard, and given the space to achieve to their highest potential. A former national marketing manager for Africa's largest optometric network, her transition into media and broadcasting has come as an aggravating and challenging adventure. She's had the honor of being crowned Miss South Africa Second Princess in 2020 and confines to serve as a mentor for the organization. After only 2 years in the industry, she is now a radio host on Cape Town's biggest radio station. She is the go-to host and MC for multinational corporates across the country and serves on the board of Amehlo Trust, which seeks to empower young black female optometrists through equity funding for their own businesses. As a broadcaster, community builder, businesswoman, and speaker, her biggest role is being mom to 2 girls who she wishes to inspire to excellence by being a solid example of hard work, commitment, and leading with kindness.
FGLers, to the parents, the FGL ambassadors, and everybody that's decided to spend their Saturday afternoon with us and join us in this enriching session. My name is Motivational. I'm so honored to be your host. For the first of our webinar series, we plan to have a series every month, twice a month to be exact. We'll be looking to inspire, motivate, and encourage our FGLers to inspire them to be great and to motivate them as they sharpen their excellence. Today's promises to be an exciting day. I want to do some housekeeping, and I guess I muted myself in doing the housekeeping. I'm going to ask anyone that's on the Zoom to please put their mics on mute so we don't hear any of the background noise and interference when we're speaking with our fantastic speakers this afternoon. As you know, the Future Global Leaders Club is the brainchild of a high-achieving 13-year-old, Ulihle, and she saw the need for us to nurture the ambitions of young people, and through a network that motivates and inspires and just gathers young minds together where they're completely motivated and focused on attaining their excellence. We'll be hearing from Ulihle later on today. But before then, obviously, we all know that we can't have a successful club without strong, innovative, and courageous leadership. And we are so honored at FGL to have the leadership of Mrs. Balesa Kyobeka, Mrs. T, as we love to call her. Mrs. T is an educationist with extensive advisory and technical experience in the management of education, policy development, policy implementation, as well as monitoring and evaluation in the public sector. She has worked in education both within and outside of government in South Africa for over 41 years. Mrs. T attended the University of Fort Hare, where she majored in English and psychology, and went on to do a university education diploma, where she completed a B.Ed at UNISA and her master's, focusing on the management of education innovation at Reading University in the UK. Along the way, she collected a number of other diplomas, certificates, and short courses at various universities, including the University of London in the UK, the University of Pretoria, Harvard Institution of Education, Ohio State University, both in the US, as well as the University of Edinburgh in Scotland. Throughout her career, Mrs. T has enjoyed putting in place new initiatives or leading new programs in the system of education. She retired in October 2019 as Deputy Director for the first ever Planning and Delivery Oversight Unit of the Department of Education after serving as Deputy Director in that position for over 16 years. Mrs. T has served on various professional councils in education, including the first board of South African Qualification Council. She's the chairperson of the Education Sector Committee of the National Commission of UNESCO in South Africa, and also sits on a number of boards of education, non-governmental and non-for-profit organizations in the country. What a mouthful, guys. We certainly are very honored to have her lead this game-changing organization, this life-changing initiative. We're very honored to have such strong leadership in Mrs. T. We are so sad she couldn't be with us today, but obviously she's given us a blessing for us to continue to have an incredible session with all of you this afternoon. Before we start, let's hear from our founder, Ulihle Zindwa. Can we play that welcome video that we have from Ulihle? Then I'll introduce you quickly.
My name is Lisa Zima. I'm 13 years old and I am the founder of the Future Global Leaders Club. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this prestigious and esteemed club that is exclusive to consistently hardworking, determined, intelligent, diligent, and ambitious learners like you. You have shown your potential to strive for the best no matter what it takes. If you want to be consistently consistent in your academic excellence, if continuous improvement is your motto, and if you want to be inspired into greatness, then the Future Global Leaders Club is your virtual home. I officially welcome you as we entrench and firmly embed ourselves as the global leaders of the future.
Thank you so much. What a beautiful message from Ulihle. She says, as we entrench ourselves as future global leaders, as an example of excellence. I love that. We have Ulihle here in the webinar with us today. Ulihle, are you there? Can I say hi to you quickly? Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Good afternoon, Ulihle. Thank you so much for taking time to join us this first webinar series of your brainchild. How are you feeling about today's session?
I'm feeling really excited. Like it's actually sitting in that this is, actually happening. Yes, I'm feeling really good.
We are so proud that you thought of this incredible initiative. Any welcome notes to the FGLers before we get started?
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for joining, and that I hope they enjoy this workshop.
Thank you so much, Lisha. We certainly will enjoy this workshop, and hopefully you're going to be staying and joining us as we go through our motivation and mental wellness webinar today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. That is our founder, Ulihle. What an honor to have her with us. So she's also taken time out of her Saturday, because sharpening your excellence is something that we commit to as FGL members, and I'm so proud that we are all here today. Okay, let's play our opening video and get on with this incredible session.
Start with 0. Minus mentor. Minus internet. Divided by poverty. What does that leave you with? Ambition. Multiply that by countless trips to the library. Minus a few birthday parties. Minus electricity. Multiply that sum by early mornings and late nights. Equals 100% for maths, 100% for science, and a degree in engineering.
How ambitious are you? That is the question. And I think as members of this elite club of excellence, we certainly know that you are very, very ambitious. I want to kick off today's program with our guest speaker. We're ready to speak to a phenomenal young lady. We're so excited to have her. Uzenya Kunana is a dynamic, diligent, enthusiastic student who's currently pursuing an undergrad qualification in BCom management at the University of Stellenbosch. Uzen matriculated in 2019 with stellar results. She got two level 6 passes for accounting and physical science, and level 7 passes in maths, English, Afrikaans, and business studies. What a superstar. She is in her final year of study and is a member of the Golden Key Society in recognition of her continued excellence in academia and leadership at the prestigious university. True to her name, which means to the top, right to the pinnacle, her commitment to excellence, servant leadership in all her endeavors makes her the perfect speaker for this first session as we seek to inspire our members to greatness. Zenith, as young as she is also an author of a published book, Made of Light, and she will be speaking on mental wellness later on today. FGLers will be taking some of your questions, like I mentioned at the beginning. If you have any questions for our speakers, please write them on the chat box and we will note them down and ask the speakers a little bit later on in the session. We will have a Q&A after each of our speakers have spoken. So please do engage with us and interact, because we're sharing our lived experiences in order to enrich each other. That is our purpose for today, to inspire you and to hold your hand as you aspire to greatness. Well, Zenith, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm so excited. I'm going to hand over to you, allowing you to share your journey to success, leave some pearls of wisdom for the FGLers. It's over to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Sis Owed. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much. And hello to the future global leaders, the FGLers. I hope you are doing well. And I want to thank first and foremost the founder of FGL, Lihle Zilwa, and the president of FGL, Mrs. T, for inviting me here and, to be a part of such an impactful initiative. Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here. So speaking of being here, we are not here today by accident, okay? It's a very nice Saturday afternoon. No one decided, let me just stumble upon this workshop. No, you guys were identified and handpicked to be a part of the Future Global Leaders Program because of your natural skills, your talents, the intelligence that you possess. And you have been identified as people who have the potential to change your communities, to change your schools, to change your homes. You are the kinds of people that the world needs more of. So before anything else, I want you guys to take a moment to clap for yourselves, to applaud yourselves. You are that girl. You are that guy, you are that person doing the most. So I don't know if you guys are really clapping. I can't hear you, but I'm hoping that you are taking the time to really just take in this moment. Yes, there's some claps there. Thank you. So being proud of yourself and learning to applaud yourself is just one step that you can use to lead you to greatness and to guide you on success. But as you guys probably know, that there are many steps that need to come before even being able to celebrate and reap your rewards. On my own personal journey and what has helped me reach success, the very first step is having a purpose. Okay, I believe that having a purpose is what unlocks all the potential that is lying within you. Your purpose fuels your inner drive, and that's what moves you and motivates you to pursue your goals and to actually reach those goals. Without a purpose, in other words, without knowing exactly why you want to achieve something, it's so easy to get lost, lost in the sauce, lost in whatever else is going on, to get distracted. You forget where you are going. I'll give you a practical example. When I was in primary school, I was a top achiever, like all of you guys. If you got it, you got it. You guys know that it's something that you are born with in a lot of times. So I was always a high achiever, doing well up until grade 5. In grade 5 and grade 6, I started getting mixed up with the wrong crowd. I started staying late after school with my friends and getting involved with the boys. Oh my gosh, we weren't doing our homework in class. We were talking, we were being disruptive. And I just started developing a negative attitude towards school and even towards the teachers in my school. But then I realized that no, man, grade 7 is coming. It's serious business. I need to get my act right. But by then it was already too late. At the end of grade 6, going into grade 7 at the award ceremony, I missed out on the position of head girl because of my bad behavior. And I was devastated. Of course, yes, I was still appointed as deputy head girl, which is, a very great achievement in itself. But I was shattered because I knew that I really, really wanted that head girl position. And what made it even worse for me was knowing that if I hadn't lost focus of my goals, I would have gotten it. So when I got to grade 8 in my new high school, I told myself that I'm going to do things differently. This time, I'm going to get it right. I immediately knew that when I get to grade 12, I'm going to be head girl. Okay, not only that, but I'm going to get that white blazer too. That was my ambition. And the white blazer, that's the highest award that any pupil can get in the college. So because I knew from the beginning what exactly it was I wanted to get out of my high school experience, I was able to align all my actions towards that goal. So everything that I did, and even the things that I chose not to do, they were intentional. I knew that for all 4 years leading up to high school, in order to be head girl, in order to get that blazer, I need to be involved in as many, sporting activities and extramural activities. I have to be busy and hands-on. I knew that I had to be friendly and welcoming to my classmates, to my teachers, and be someone that they could rely on. I knew that I had to keep my academic performance top-notch because, of course, I have to lead by example. So sometimes I couldn't stay after school and hang out with my friends. I couldn't go to that party sometimes because I had to work on my assignments. I had to study. I couldn't go out on the Saturday. And some of those decisions, I decided, I actually don't want to go out because I don't want to get caught up in the wrong crowd again. I don't want to get in trouble. So making those hard decisions and making those commitments, it wasn't easy, especially in high school. You guys are in high school right now, and all you want to do is just have fun with your friends. But in varsity, it's just the same. Actually, it's worse in varsity because your friends will come knock on your res door. You just sat down to work and they'll be like, girl, get ready, we're going out. And you have to be like, guys, I'm sorry, I can't make it today. So those sacrifices are not easy to make sometimes. If you have a purpose, however, you know that you are making only a temporary sacrifice for a long-term meaningful gain. And when you have a purpose, it becomes your lighthouse and it becomes a guiding path. It illuminates your path so that you know exactly where you are going. In my example, I knew that I wanted to make a positive change in my school. I knew I wanted to be an inspiration to my peers. I wanted to make my parents proud. And most importantly, I knew that I had that dream from grade 7 that I had to live up to, and I had to make my dream come true. So those were my reasons for doing. Whatever your reason is, never lose sight of that. Okay, so that is step 1, okay? Having a purpose. Step 2, even before you want to take action, is believing in your purpose. You have to believe in yourself. As my mom always says, if you don't believe in yourself, who will? You think other people are going to support you if you can't even convince yourself of your dream? No, you have to really, really believe in yourself. And I emphasize this because it's very common for high achievers like yourselves to fall, victim to imposter syndrome. I don't know how many of you guys have felt imposter syndrome, where you just have this intense self-doubt about your success. And you feel like your achievements are not valid, they're not good enough, and you feel like you don't deserve a seat at the table. So you minimize yourself, you feel like you're doing the most, you're doing too much, you need to give other kids a chance. No, do the most, keep doing the most, okay? There's this quote from one of my favorite books, A Return to Love. And the writer of that book, she says, our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our greatest fear is that we are brilliant and powerful beyond measure. It is not our light, it is our darkness that frightens us most. Sorry, it's not our darkness, it is our light that frightens us most, my bad. And then she says, we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. And how true is that? In all your talents and your abilities, those are gifts that you need to use to serve the world. Okay, you guys are future global leaders. And the key to great leadership is being a servant to others. I know this because when I did make Head Girl in Matric, I also won the Servant Leadership Award. So believe in yourself, in your talents, in your dreams. Speak your truth every single day, because when you are authentic and you remain true to your own journey, you actually inspire other people to reach for their own success. Okay, so step 1 is having a purpose. Step 2 is believing in that purpose. Step 3 is now finally taking action. But this is the hard part. It's very hard to get that foot off the ground when it's time to walk the talk, okay? Don't just say you're going to do something. And you also don't want to spend all your time dreaming about what you want to do. Just do it. You have to be about that action. You can't let any outside, distractions or criticisms keep you from your dream. Because there will be a lot of people who want to project their own insecurities and their own inabilities onto you. The naysayers will want to put you down, but you can't let that happen. More importantly, you can't let your own insecurities stop you from taking that step. It's so important to learn to rise above that negative self-talk, to rise above any self-doubt. So, and also another thing is to stop procrastinating. That is really, really a big one. Stop procrastinating. There is no right time to start the project. You need to start that project now, okay? You need to ask for help today. Apply to that program today, now. And I'm also talking to myself here because I tend to let procrastination get the better of me and steal my time. And there's been so many opportunities that I've missed because of that. So you need to bet on yourself and be courageous enough to start. The world favors those who are brave. All right, now step 4, we're getting there. 4 out of 5, the journey to success. Step 4 is resilience. The truth is, and I'm sure you guys already know this, that there can be no success without failure. In fact, there'll probably be more failures than successes. But losing can really be your biggest motivator to reaching success. Something that really held me back when I was in high school was maths. Your math was not my strong point at all. And I know a lot of you guys maybe can't relate because there's some FGLers getting 100% for math, 100% for physics. You guys are out of this world. For me, I'm more an English person. You know, I like my languages, theory-based subjects. So math was just a struggle for me. And I remember in one of my matric class tests, I must have gotten like 46%. And you know when the teacher brings you your test and they like hand the paper down upside down because they're just so embarrassed. I really had that moment. It was bad. It was really bad. And I sat in class crying at how badly I had done. And I felt so disappointed in myself. And I was just so mad at myself. So I went to my teacher and I asked her, what am I doing wrong? And what can I do to improve my marks? I need these marks for university. I can't afford to get another fail like this. So I started getting extra lessons, coming to school early in the mornings. I did so many past papers. I can't even tell you how many. And I did not enjoy one bit of it. I really, really did not enjoy any bit of it. But in the end, it was all worth it because my final maths mark, I got 80% on the dot. So I feel like that should show you the fact that I just made it to that distinction. It really just shows you how hard I fought and how far my resilience stretched. Little did I know, though, that 46% would be the first of so many L's that I would take. Being in university has really humbled me. I can say that even for the brightest students, it's not easy just because it's a lot more work and you need to adapt an entirely different mind frame and paradigm of thinking when you get into university. But because of the resilience that I cultivated back in high school, I've been able to pick myself up and bounce back time and time again. And that leads me to my fifth and final step on this guide to success. Celebrate yourself. Okay, once you've identified your purpose and you believe in yourself, you've taken that action, you've remained resilient, even in the face of adversity, it's time to reap the rewards and be proud of yourself. This one is very important because the path to success is not linear. And it's the same for everything in life. You know, you won't always be on an upward trajectory. You will go through peaks and valleys. And just because you have failed once before doesn't mean you're not going to fail ever again in the future. You know, you'll make mistakes continuously, but you will learn and grow from those mistakes. And it's also very important to know that your failures, they don't define who you are as a person. It's just a setback to set you up. See setbacks set you up for success. Wow. I think that's a great one. So you need to just know that in your experiences, in your losses, when you get a win, be proud of yourself. You know, you deserve it. You worked hard for it. You earned it. So dance about it, brag about it, be grateful for it, and then just keep doing more work. I remember, you know, at the beginning of the year after I matriculated, it's January and we're all waiting for our matric results. So I had gotten the head girl, I got the white blazer, I got all these awards. And now for my matric results, I'm waiting for the SMS and it comes through. And I remember seeing, okay, 85 Afrikaans, 85%. Business studies, 92%. Oh my gosh. English, 92%. Advanced English, 85%. Maths, remember that maths, 80%. Physical science, 79%. Oh my gosh. Are you being serious? I just broke down into tears at seeing that. And my heart shattered. I was so devastated. But my parents went, because I was sitting with them with the results, and they were so confused. They were looking at me and they couldn't understand how I could beat myself up over such a one small percent when I had all these amazing results, you know? And they said to me, they said, Zen, why are you looking at the molehills when you have moved mountains? Your matric year was not easy. You're looking at this one spilled glass of water when you've conquered all these oceans. They just were able to be proud of me, even when I couldn't be proud of myself. But nowadays, I am learning to be proud of myself. And I applaud myself for my achievements, whether it's big or small. And I give myself a lot more grace. I remind myself that I am worthy, that I am enough, and that I am the only person who can define what success means to me. So I hope after today and these 5 steps to this master plan that you are also able to really, really be proud of yourself and are motivated to keep reaching for success.
Zen, oh my goodness. Love all of those FGLers. I hope you're taking notes. She said purpose, and then she said belief in yourself, and then combining those two and turning it into action, and then resilience. Right? How crazy is that when maths was your least favorite subject, you felt the least strong in, and you finished that off with a distinction, one of your 7. Wow, just incredible. And then, of course, celebrating yourself, which is something we so often forget to do, right? Because we're just looking for perfection in everything. We just need to be able to give ourselves that grace to be happy about the achievements that we've obtained. All right, we do have some questions coming through in the chat box. So many questions. Are you ready, Zen?
I am ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. Well, the first question is on self-belief. All right. So the question is, when did you know what you wanted to study, and how do you navigate uncertainty around what it is that you decided to study?
Yes. Well, I know this one very, very well, because you get to grade 11, get to matric, and you are expected to make such a huge decision for your future, and I've gotten to university and I did question a lot of times, is what I'm doing the right thing? Am I making the right choice? And sometimes you will never know when you're making that right choice, but you just have to, no matter what it is, believe in yourself. Like I said, put your all into it. If at that point in time, and you feel like it is what you want to do, give your all to it. Don't go half-heartedly into something, because then it's just a waste of time. So really just go for it all. If you feel like it's maybe not the right decision, ask for guidance, speak to the people at school, your parents, your teachers, and know that you can always, a wise man always changes his mind. You can always change your mind along the way, as long as you are set on that change.
I absolutely love that. Also, our FGLers are so lucky to have a community around them, right? Because we have our ambassadors, we have our proud parents, we really have a really strong network where you can really lean on like-minded people to get these answers to these questions. There's also a question about leading by example, where how do you balance your social and personal life and your school life, especially in grade 11 and grade 12, and still achieve the results that you did?
Yes, definitely. That one, balance is a very, very important thing, because you, of course, want to have fun with your friends. It's your last few years in high school, you're young, you really want to have fun. But there are some compromises that you need to make. Success, you can't have that without any sacrifices. You can't reach the top giving up on a few things. So yes, prioritize resting, prioritize playing as well, but make sure that it's not distracting you from what you really want. Think about your future self. What can I do today to get me to where I want to be in the future? And that will be your compass, your guiding point, your purpose, your lighthouse that will aid you in making these hard decisions.
Mm. Also, you mentioned that at the start of your academic studies, like in primary school, you let the ball drop there quite a bit, and you didn't quite get where you wanted to be when you got to grade 7. So we've got some FGLers here who are also just starting off in their high school career. There's always that mindset that you must wait until grade 11. That's when you must really push hard in order to get into the best university. What advice would you give them? If I'm a grade 8 learner and I'm a member of FGL, what motivation would you give to me just to encourage me to continue to strive for excellence now and not wait 3 years down the line?
Yes, I think, yes, we always hear that story. Oh yeah, grade 11 is when it gets tough, wait until then. But I think the best advice would just to be where you are right now and enjoy that moment, give your best in that moment. In grade 8, you are free, you have more time to actually do all these curricular activities, to get involved wherever, because when you get to grade 11 and 12, you realize that you don't have the time to do that. So wherever you are in your journey, primary school, high school, give your best always, show up as yourself, show up giving your best, doing your best. And those little steps will lead you to that great victory.
I love that. We have another question. Like the FGLers are really digging into your tools here.
I love it. I
love the level of engagement. There's a question here that says, how did you cope with the pressure? The workload in grade 12 can be overwhelming. This FGLer says she's struggling to cope. Any tools or tips for her?
Yes, I struggled as well in matric. In fact, that was definitely my most difficult year. We will dive in more later on the mental wellness session about how to actually cope with those pressures and how to, really deal with that. So we can stick around for that. That'll be very exciting.
Well, thank you, Zen, so much. Zen, as she said, is going to be speaking about our mental health and mental wellness towards the end of this session. So she will be sticking around. So do keep the questions coming as we're having this open conversation. I feel like I'm sitting in all your living rooms and I'm getting to see and meet all these super achievers. It's such an honor for me. And I want you all to please be involved, to all be engaged. This is your platform. This is your time. And we're here to motivate and support you. And today I did promise you 2, not 1, but 2 super achievers. And our next speaker is Miss Linda Rambuya. Linda is a super achiever, and she wrote the foreword to our founder's book. She's 19 years old, a South African, but born and raised in Botswana. She's recognized as a top achiever in Botswana, having scored 6 A stars and 2 Bs in her final IGSE matric examinations, having earned a full government scholarship to pursue studies in medicine. She's ambitious, courageous, and always strives to be the best in everything she does. She's also resilient, although some days are harder than others, but she keeps pushing. Lindy is a leader, having been a prefect during Form 4 and Form 5 of her years in high school, and is currently the chairperson of the A-Levels Community Service Committee of 2022. She's a very active person and believes that a healthy body, a healthy mind has great impact on your success. Lindy, hello, welcome to the inaugural webinar for FGLers across the country. We're so proud to have you with us. I'm going to give you the same platform I gave to Zenith. I want you to please share your journey, where you are, how you got there, and some tips for our excellent achievers here in the FGL club. Lindy, are you there?
I'm here. Hi, FGL.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fantastic, Lindy. So excited to have you join us in this conversation today. I'm going to hand over to you. I'm going to mute and let you run with it.
All right. I'd like to say thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you, Lihle, and our president, Mrs. T. I'd like to start off by saying good afternoon to our president, Mrs. T, our founder, Lihle Sisolwetu, FGLers, FGL parents, guests, and FGL ambassadors. My name is Lindalwa Neombuya. First of all, it's a great privilege for me to be here, and I'm more than honored to motivate our future global leaders. I'd like to acknowledge our host, Olwetu Nodada. I'm here today to motivate you all by telling you my life story. How I was able to become a top achiever in my country, Botswana, having scored 6 A stars and being recognized as the best student in my AS level. I would actually like to commend some of you FGLers, those who scored 90% and above. Well done to you, keep it up. And those, I saw 10 people actually who scored 100% in their individual end of year subjects. That's crazy to me, and well done to all of you guys. And to those who got in the 70s, your time to shine still awaits you. I know because I was actually where you guys were. You know, it would be a great pleasure to tell you how I managed to reach my level of success. It was all through hard work. I know it sounds very cliche, but when it's put into play, it does pay off. I actually started working hard in grade 10. I used to be in the top 20 in grade 8. I would see my other friends passing. I was like, what are they doing that I'm not doing, you know? And I pondered to myself, why can't I be there as well? As months went by, I was still in the top 20 until I saw my own brother, Gabo Mbuya, who is currently finishing his second year at the best international engineering universities here in Botswana, who at every prize giving would get almost 6 prizes out of 8 of the subjects he used to do. And I was like, what is he doing, you know, to get all these prizes? And I remember one day I went to a study room and I just looked inside and I saw him studying, rarely taking breaks. He'd wake up at 3 a.m. just to study. And I thought to myself, wow, you know, if this is what he's doing to get all of these prizes and, you know, to get all the good grades, why not adapt it? So I did, and I made it into my own. After that, I started waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning and I started studying really, really hard. And I saw myself winning all the awards. And I remember reaching top 11, actually. I was number 11. And I was like, no, you know, I want to be in the top 10. I'm so close, you know. So mid grade 10, that's when I reached the top 10. And I was like, oh, okay, I can do it. And then grade 11 was when I reached the top 5. And eventually I became number 1 of my class. And, you know, as you can see, I didn't just skyrocket to being number 1. It took a lot of dedication, sacrifice, optimism, and challenging myself daily. Every single morning, whether I like it or not, I always affirm positive words to myself, whether it be face to face in the mirror or just having a monologue with myself. Even on days where I didn't feel like those positive words, you know, I would still say them. And at the end of the day, I'd see myself feeling much better. Now, on the topic of tests, you know, there would be tests that I used to fail, you know, along the way. And I was like, you know what, I have to do better. So after failing a test, you know, we all just want to throw that paper away and be like, I never want to see you again. But we all have to be true to ourselves, you know. You ask yourself, okay, where did I go wrong? Where can I correct where I was wrong? And how was I studying? Just self-introspect. Get over that mark and go to the paper and, you know, go over it again and see where you went wrong. So in saying this, having reached to the top was not easy at all. And trust me when I say this. And you know, I used to improve. If I did bad on a test, I would improve by maybe 5% and all that stuff. But I was like, no, why am I improving by such a small percentage? And, you know, I asked my brother, I was like, Gabo, I don't like this because I just want to be, you know, on top. And he told me, you know, any increase is an improvement, no matter how large or how small. And that really, it did move me. And I was like, okay, fine. At least I'm not going down, you know? So, and another key factor to my success was making a lot of sacrifices. So what I used to do is that I never study with my phone in the room, right? I never use social media, whether it be WhatsApp, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, and or watching TV during the week. I'd only use it on weekends. And during exam time, like that was even worse because in that whole 1.5 months of writing exams, I would not use any social media. And it was painful, but I had to do what I had to do, you know? So um, what caused me to make all these sacrifices was self-control. You know, when I was younger, my brother and I actually, when we were younger, we used to eat chips like every single day and eat gum every single day. And one day, you know, my mom sat us down and she's like, okay, guys, you know, I want us to instill self-control in you. And she was like, let's cut out chips and gum for the whole week and only eat them on the weekends. And we were like, oh, okay, I guess let's do it. And you know, some days were harder than others, but it was worth the while. So adapting to self-control doesn't just happen in a short space of self-control, actually naturally rubbed off onto the other aspects of my life. It's now, I find it easy for me to now let go of some of the stuff for a period of time and focus on the important things. Till this day, it has kept me strong and has helped me apply it where I need it. In saying this, not only is sacrifice important, but also learning from the best. It may be your siblings, it may be your parents, it may be your friends, or even our fellow FGLers. Have someone to look up to. For example, mine was my own brother. He was right in front of me. So in grade 12, having done all the sacrifices, I managed to score the following. So in physical education, I scored a 93%. In computer science, I scored a 92%. In mathematics, I scored a 93%. In biology, I scored a 91%. In chemistry, I scored a 93%. And in physics, I scored a 91%. And now I'm recognized as a top achiever in Botswana who has earned herself a government scholarship to study abroad and pursue medicine, specializing in cardiology. So now grade 12 was where I told myself, like, you know, it's now or never. So my mom actually introduced me to Michael Jordan's Netflix documentary, which is called The Last Dance. Michael Jordan was my role model in grade 12. I admired his work ethic, his determination to be the best of the best, as well as his determination to just be better every time. He increased my self-belief that, along with my mom, he taught me to visualize my goal, to see the bigger picture. It may look small right now, but day by day, if we keep pushing and pressing, all the smalls will end up becoming a large, beautiful picture, which is our future. So, which I managed to do so. I constantly visualize myself being on the newspaper. I constantly visualize myself getting those good grades. And it happened. I came out on the newspaper and I was recognized by my country for my grades. So I repeat this one more time. It is possible to become the person that you've always dreamed of. You can make it. If I can do it, you most definitely can, trust me. So in summary, there are 7 things that helped me to become a top achiever and that brought me to where I stand today. Number 1, my role model. Like I mentioned before, my role model was my brother. You know, seeing him scoop up all those prizes while I was getting none. I was like, no, you know what, something needs to change. So he inspired me. And I strongly believe that it is important to have someone to look up to. Like I said, whether it be your siblings, your parents, a celebrity, your teachers, and our fellow FGLers constantly be inspired. Number 2, ambition. My role model inspired me to become ambitious, having the desire to get all the prizes and to be a top achiever. So to you, FGLers, I encourage you all to be ambitious as well, as ambition will help you to achieve what you want to achieve. Number 3, hard work. Hard work does pay off. All those late nights, all those early mornings do pay off. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Constantly hunger to see yourself at the top. Craving those A stars is what made me to work towards them. Now I move on to number 4, which is all the sacrifices I made. These were not going out with my friends when they'd post pictures on their statuses, and it hurt, but I was like, no, you know what, I have a goal and I need to reach it, whether it be I miss that party or I miss going out. I had to stay home and I had to study, and also not using social media and watching TV. So you should try to find something that you can let go, something that's holding you back from reaching to where you want to be. So let go for a little while, and then once you've gotten your A stars, you can then go back to it. Number 5 was being able to take in the pain and push forward, being resilient. Sometimes I would study so hard for a test and I just wouldn't see the results. Yes, I would feel sad, and I'd feel demotivated. But knowing that I can make it helped me push even harder and do more than what I did before. And then I saw myself getting the results. So don't give up because, all your hard work, it doesn't seem like it paid off. Just keep on going and just keep on seeing the bigger picture. So I just want to tell you, FGLers, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And, there will come times where you won't get the results you're looking for. So I encourage you to not throw in the towel. Just study harder. And at the end of the day, you will get the results you're looking for. Number 6, being humble. Remaining humble in all the success that came and when I'd passed well and even becoming number 1 of my class. I wouldn't relax and say, I've passed, I don't need to study anymore. No, I kept on working hard because I just knew that if I stop, the good grades will also stop coming. So just don't become complacent. I didn't change. My hunger for success was never satisfied with the A's, but in wanting to constantly see myself being number 1. Last but not least, number 7, I had courage. I'm not intimidated by any hurdles that come my way, whether it be a difficult topic in a subject that might be hard to understand, whether it be other people's voices telling me that I can't do it or that I'm aiming way too high. Don't let that stand in your way. So I didn't let that stand in my way. For instance, my ambition right now is to study in Canada to become a medical doctor. With all the competition in this world, all the strict entrance requirements and all the fee structure, I'm not scared. I'm not scared. So to all you FGLers, have courage to pursue your dreams, to pursue your A stars, never be intimidated by anyone. But if you are intimidated by someone, turn it to be a positive intimidation. That could be by giving you energy to want to achieve more, which will mean you have to study more. So as FGLers, I would like you to believe in yourselves. For instance, if you're a 3-star right now, I want you to dream big. I want you to have the courage to dream big and eventually become a 5-star or even a 7-star. There's no limit. So as Roy Bennett once said, and I quote, "Believe in yourself. You are braver than you think, more talented than you know, and more capable than you imagine." Thank you.
Oh, wow, Lindy, thank you so much for sharing that with us. That was so inspirational. I just want to go through all 7 of your points and make sure everyone has got them. Uh, find yourself a role model, have ambition, sacrifice, be resilient, be humble, be courageous. And I'm missing one. What's the 7th one?
The 7th one was having courage.
Okay, so I've got role model, I've got ambition, I've got sacrifice. I missed one before sacrifice.
Working hard.
Hard work, of course. That definitely makes sense. You speak so much about courage, right? And I love that when you relay your story about watching your brother scoop up all those awards, it shifted your mindset from not really caring about being an achiever to really wanting to be one. So you weren't in that space of excellence. If some FGLers aren't in that space now, what would you say to them just to help them see that best mark ahead of them?
Okay, like I said, have a role model. Number 2, you need to visualize yourself, being the person who you want to be. And once you have that vision and once you see yourself, reaching that goal, I think it's easy for you to then put in the work that you need to put in to be able to reach to where you want to be. So I would just say that, the FGLers should just visualize themselves being the best and being number 1 and, not caring about what other people say about them and just knowing that it's their race that they're running and just getting there and getting to the top.
I love that. So like often they say, they make that analogy of sprinters and when they're running down a 100-meter lane, if they look to the left or the right, they get distracted and they don't get to finish well. So staying focused is exactly what it is that you're telling us that the FGLers must do. By you stay in your lane and then you're going to finish well. What is the difference in the mindset that you had? So you were a top 20 achiever, then suddenly you are number 1 in your class. The Lindy that is top 20 and the Lindy that is number 1, what is the difference?
Back in grade 8, I was just going to school because my parents, paid school fees. I'd go to school just to talk to my friends and just have fun, at break time, buy all the pies and just enjoy myself. And, the change in my mindset was when I saw my brother getting all those prizes and me as his sister, just sitting there watching him get them. I was like, no, I think there's something that needs to be done. Let me also just try, get those prizes as well. So that's when, I started to be like, okay, no, let's shift our mindset to wanting to become great. And so that was just, I guess, what led me to start studying harder and, to start taking school more seriously because I was like, no, I'm about to finish school and, I can't just, fail. My parents think I want to make them proud at the end of the day, and so it just pushed me to just study harder and reach my goal.
I love it. In your chat to us earlier, you mentioned positive affirmations. I know I have some of those. I write them on the mirror and I say them to myself every day. Can you share maybe 2 or 3 of those positive affirmations that help you kickstart your day and keep you motivated?
Okay, so I would tell myself that I'm the best, number 1. Number 2 would be telling myself that I am 100% student. Even if I got like a 50 in the test, I'd be like, no, I'm 100% student. And, the more I said it, the more it would come into reality because, the more you say something, I feel like the more it encourages you and pushes you to want to reach that. And I just tell myself that, I'm unstoppable. So I guess those are just a few of them that I used to say to myself.
You are 100% student. You are unstoppable. Those are beautiful affirmations. So what would you say are the things that motivate you? Do you think you're more personally motivated or are you motivated by wanting to be an example of success to others? What do you think is the biggest motivator? Is it your parents? Is it your personal achievement?
I would say it's wanting to see myself on top and, you know, wanting to make my parents proud because they've just dedicated so much into my, you know, academic life. So, yeah. And also just, you know, my brother as well, like I said, being my role model, you know, he also kind of, he's my motivation. Yeah, he's someone I really look up to.
Mm. We have another question here from FGLers. I don't know if it's my network. Can anyone still hear me? I hope I'm not freezing. There's a question here that says, how do you handle disappointment? When you don't get the mark you wanted, how do you handle that?
Okay, so what I do is I would, once again, go to my brother or talk to my parents about it. And, you know, they would kind of inspire me and help me get back up on my feet. I'd also cry. You know, I feel like we should just normalize crying if we're disappointed, because it's like we're disappointed, so we can't just, you know, bottle it up. So I just used to cry and I just get over it and be like, okay, you know what, next time, let's just try it again. So I wouldn't just stop and give up. I would just get over everything and then go back.
I love that, because we have to acknowledge that we wanted something and we didn't get it in order for us to make a plan on how to get it again, right? So I think really accepting it is part of the crying, you know, but you don't sit in that moment of sadness, right? You cry and then you move on, you make a plan and you work for the next best mark. What goal setting do you do, Lindy, to keep you accountable?
So like I mentioned in my speech, I'm courageous. So I don't allow the hurdles, you know, to stop me. The second one is that I'm also hardworking. So because I've set a goal for myself, you know, I need to work towards that goal. I can't just be complacent. And the third one is being resilient. You know, if I fall down, I just have to stand back up again and, you know, dust myself off and just keep on going.
I love that. Courage, hard work, and resilience. Those are very important tools to have in your toolkit if you want to actually see the goals that you've set be achieved. Lindy, thank you so, so much. I see there's an FGL that had raised a hand. I don't know if we've got the ability to allow them to talk. Sile, are you there?
Sigelelwa, please unmute.
All right, Silwe, if you can't unmute,
please, please unmute Sigelelwa so we can hear you.
Okay, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to ask admin to take a note of your question, Sige. So I know you had your hand up, but rather put the question in the chat box and we'll get back to it when we're wrapping up the session a little bit later. I think that's how we should try and address it, Lubugo. All right. Oh, there she is. Hello. No. Okay. Lindy, thank you so much for sharing those important pillars of success with us today. I think hard work, optimism, having a role model, being ambitious, courage, I think, is the big thing that we can take here. And obviously those self-affirmations. We're really rooting for you and wishing you the very best as you try to get to, as you walk into Canada, because we know that you're going to get into that top university and pursue your dreams, because of course you are a sharp mind, and that's why we have you here as a guest speaker. We're so proud of you. Please don't go, because we, of course, will be moving on to our mental health segment just after this, because we want to have your thoughts on it, as we want to be able to engage with you on it. I mean, being a member of a club like this with like-minded people not only ignites determination, but constantly improves the next person. You know, if you have your peer next to you, if you have someone that's helping you during the FGL tutorials, if you have that level of networking and community, is what keeps you sharp. It is what keeps you accountable. It keeps you chasing the next best goal. And I hope the chat that we've had with Uzenet and Olindi has really kept you inspired and given you practical tools, sharing their lived experiences. And you've been inspired by their success stories. We did promise you that the second half of this section will be mental health. All right. So Uzen, at 22 years old, is a published author. Right. This is a book that she's published. It's called Made of Light, and it's a collection of poems and proses and thoughts as she has journeyed through her mental health journey. This book is available on Amazon.com and, of course, at exclusivebooks.com. When I went to go find it on Amazon, it had just 2 copies left. So parents, if you do want to get this for your child, or you want to sponsor it to someone that's really deserving, you can find it on Amazon and on exclusivebooks.com. All right, Zen. So, I mean, you are a super achiever. You just finished matric. You're in your 3rd year of school. Why would you write a book?
Hello, everyone, again. Yes, so, well, it all happened in matric, okay? Grade 12 was a very big turning point for me in my life. And like I mentioned earlier on, I was just at the top of my high school career, at the pinnacle. I had achieved everything that I had worked for, you know, but then still, when I was at my highest point, it felt like I was at my lowest point. So it was in the middle of my matric year when I really fell into this deep depression for the very, very first time. And it was such a foreign feeling. I did not know what was going on, just seemingly 80 blow. I'm sad all the time. I'm miserable. And it became difficult for me to want to go to school, to engage with my friends, to concentrate. You know, I just had no interest anymore in the things that I was doing. And then when I got back home after school, I would head off into my room, lock myself in my room, and see everybody else in the morning. So I started isolating my friends from myself from my friends and my family, and, you know, just dealing with a lot of negative and intrusive thoughts. So although I was, you know, displaying a lot of the textbook symptoms of depression at the time, I didn't know it. You know, I didn't understand why I was feeling the way I was feeling. I didn't know why I was treating the people around me that way, and I couldn't explain it to people. But luckily for me, I had very, very observant parents. So they started noticing that my behavior is different and that I'm, you know, not really acting like myself. They would try to speak to me and I would shut them out. I did not let anyone in. So one night they decide to call me into their bedroom. I don't know if you call it an intervention or a confrontation or whatever the case was, but they sat me down and they were like, Zen, what is going on? Tell us right now, because you are not acting like yourself and we are concerned. I couldn't speak. Silence. I didn't know what to say. How do you even begin explaining all of that? So I kept quiet. I was like, I don't know what to tell you, you know? And eventually they got really fed up with me and they basically had to pull it out of me. And I told them that, okay, listen, I don't know what's been happening, but I've been on Google. You know, when you have even a small problem, you go on Google, search all the symptoms and try self-diagnose what's going on here, but you're just trying to make sense of really like what is going on with you. And I told them that according to what I've been feeling these days, I really think I may be dealing with depression. Silence again. I was like, oh no, what have I done? But then almost as if they just knew exactly what to do in that moment, my parents were like, it's okay, Zen, it's gonna be fine. Let's go to the doctor. Then and there, it was 10 o'clock at night, not even joking. They said, let's go get you some immediate attention so that we can find a solution to this problem as soon as possible. And so I'm really grateful. Like I look back and I feel so grateful for them being so proactive and, you know, approaching my situation with so much care and understanding and wanting to always put my well-being and my safety first. Because from that point, you know, I was then able to take steps into improving my mental well-being, into getting back to being myself, you know, feeling happier, doing better at school and so forth. So I really, really am grateful to them. And I want to say that to all the proud parents of the FGLers that are here supporting them, we want to thank you and appreciate you for your constant encouragement, because really we wouldn't be here today and the FGLers wouldn't be as successful as they are today without your support. So that's just, we clapped earlier on for the FGLers, but now we have to just clap for the proud parents and just take that moment. Yes. So yes, I had finally then, you know, told my parents that, look, I'm really not okay. I'm struggling and I just need some kind of help. And then I was able to begin my healing journey. And through that healing journey, I started writing again. For me, I had always loved writing, you know, that was just my thing. I was a writer. But when you go through, you know, these stages where you're not feeling like yourself, you down in the dumps, you're going through some heavy things, you tend to lose interest in the things that bring you joy and the things that you really liked doing. So when I started writing again, I knew that, okay, I'm on the right track. And just this one night, I picked up the pen and I wrote a poem about what I was feeling. And then I wrote another one and another one and another one. And before you know it, it's 4 o'clock in the morning and I've got all these pages of poems, and it felt so, you know, cathartic in that moment, like a release, like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I was finally able to express myself again in the best way that I knew how to express myself. You know, everyone expresses themselves differently. So it's really important to know, you know, what brings life to you and trying to stay close to that when you're not feeling your best. So, you know, when I was able to write again, in just short 3 months, I had compiled a whole book of poems. And I didn't plan on writing a book. I was just writing because that's how I release things. But so it's very unintended. But at the end of it, I thought, you know what, let me publish this book, you know, let me put it out there. I really, really felt compelled to do that. On one level, doing that was very significant for me because it felt like, okay, I've written down all these things. I've been able to process it. Now I really want to release it. I want to let it go and close the book on that chapter of my life and move on to the next chapter. So that's how I was like, I need to let it all go. But on another level, I felt, you know, if I publish this book and even one other person is able to read it and is able to relate and resonate with what I'm saying, and it can get them through even one day, then I just know that my job is done. You know, I feel like that is a great purpose that I just had in my life, like a destiny. Remember, I mentioned earlier that if you have a purpose, you're able to just put yourself out there and be authentic, you know. I see someone saying, I will get your book in the comments. Thank you. Yes, I love that. Get that book because it really means something to me. And I really hope that it can be something meaningful to you as well. And yes, that is how Made of Light was born. You know, I really wanted to write it as a gentle reminder to people that you are made of light, that no matter what you are going through in that moment, you have the light within you to radiate. You have the power and the strength within you to overcome that. You have the brilliance to really just keep going. And it was a safe space for me writing that book. And so for anyone who reads it, I also want it to be a safe space where we can encourage even more conversations on mental health and find better ways to deal with that and better ways to heal.
Wow, Zin, that's so inspiring. You know, often when we are faced with challenges, we want to hide and that sort of thing. But having an important support system that is your immediate family, your parents. I love that you started off to say, let's give a big round of applause to the proud FGL parents, because without their support, their FGLers wouldn't be this excellent, wouldn't be this driven. So it's very important that they are in this conversation. And I'm so happy that they're still here for this part of the workshop, because when we speak mental wellness, right, and we look at the pillars in your book, what are the 3 things that we think that we can take away for the FGLers? And obviously, we want it to be as simple as possible so that the 12-year-old junior ambassador that's on this Zoom can also relate to it. So we just want to break it down so that we have practical tools in order to understand what are the themes that are in the book. So if we have to do the 3 themes, what are we talking about?
Yes, definitely. So the 3 themes in my book are broken down into chapters. The wound, it sounds so dramatic, but it'll make sense. Okay, the wound, the light, and the entering. And I wrote those chapters. It's based off of or inspired by a quote by one of my favorite poets, Rumi. And Rumi says that whatever pain and sorrow you hold in your heart, stay with it, because the wound is the place where the light enters you. And I felt, wow, that is so true. You really can't heal if you haven't gone through anything. You can't grow if you don't make mistakes. You know, you really need to kind of face disappointment and face losses in order to really grow and appreciate life. So the wound, you know, speaks of when I was first going through all these challenges and I was first, you know, hurting. The wound was open and I didn't know what to do. So that's kind of, you know, the beginning journey of a lot of people when they experience issues with mental health. And then the light is when you start seeing the light, you start becoming motivated, you start seeing hope. You know, that is the hopeful part of your journey, that there are people who love you around you. There are resources, there is support that can really get you to a much better place. And then the entering is the final chapter where the light really enters that wound, where you are able to triumph and overcome those challenges. You are a brand new person. You are able to shine and, you know, be strong. You are stronger, braver. And that's the end of the journey where you have really overcome a lot of those challenges.
I absolutely love that. Okay, but let's break it down just a little bit more. If there were 5 things that you would say were indicators of just some alarm bells to maybe if someone is feeling sad or isn't sleeping well, what are the 5 things that perhaps as FGLers and as parents, we can really look after and be like, okay, this is something to look into and we can really address it at the start. What are those 5 things?
Yes. So there are many indicators, some common signs that we really need to look out for as parents, as ourselves, as members of the community, so we can be able to reach out to someone when they're not doing well. You know, and these common things, you know, changes in your sleep, if you're sleeping too much or not sleeping enough, changes in your appetite, if all of a sudden you're just eating too much or you're just not eating at all, you know, if you have changes in your mood, all of a sudden you feel miserable, angry, angry or irritable, you don't have interest, if you are someone who loved going to ballet or playing sports or reading or whatever, and you just don't want to do any of that, that can also be an indicator. So we really need to be, more mindful and observant. But I also want to say that some of the things are not as obvious. You wouldn't think that someone like a future global leader, such a high impact student, 100% student, would fall, into these deep, dark holes, but it's possible. So it's also important to be able to, if you notice any changes in yourself, be bold enough to speak up and be brave enough to ask for that help and reach out, because the thing about mental health is it's not always seen, it's not always a visible thing. It's a lot of emotions and thoughts. So just that two-way street of reaching out, but also asking for that help.
Love that. Okay, so now that we've identified the 5 things, I'm not sleeping well, or I'm sleeping too much, I'm not eating enough, or I'm eating too much. Now, what is the remedy? What are the 5 things that I can help to get into a more well-balanced state of being, where I'm continuing to achieve really well in school, but I'm also happy socially and I don't feel overwhelmed? What are the 5 things that I can put in my toolkit of mental wellness?
Yes, there are so many things that you can do. So there are 5 things, but if I can break them down into just 3 simple things that will be easy to remember. And it's just always doing something for your mind, your body, and your soul. It's that balance that will just keep you going. So your mind, stimulate your mind, read, study. You FGLers are already so good at that, so keep at it. But it's also speaking positivity into your mind so that you can believe it. Like, Lindy said in her speech earlier, that if you have these affirmations, I am the best, and you believe it, that's because your mind plays games on you, it tricks you. So you can trick your mind into thinking positively. For the body, staying active, playing sports, doing yoga, going for a walk, getting the body flowing and moving really releases those endorphins that boost your mood. You feel better about yourself. And it doesn't have to be intense, a nice 30-minute walk or some yoga stretches, something to get the body moving. And then lastly, for your soul, whether it's writing, whether it's being with your friends, whether your family, in nature, you are praying, you sending gratitude every day, something that really, really nurtures you on the inside. Having that mind, body, soul balance, I think, is key.
Love that so much. Mind, body, and soul. And usually people think that when you say being active, it means that I need to be a superstar in sports as well, but it's not. It's as simple as taking that walk, maybe helping out in the garden if your parents have a little vegetable garden. Planting something will allow you to just release some really positive energy. Helping out in the kitchen, that's what I used to do to help me with my stress. So go into the kitchen, help mom cook something special. So really just being involved in my family in ways that are not just focused on whatever's just stressing me, but being able to see the gratitude side of things, where I'm grateful that I can share a meal at the table with my family and that sort of thing. I want to bring Lindy in on this chat. Lindy, are you there?
I'm here.
Hello. There's a question here, right? That says, are there times when you wanted to give up, and what did you do in those moments? So now this is now us dealing with the pressures of being a high achiever. And when you wanted to give up, what did you do then?
When I wanted to give up, I'm always going to go back to this, that I always saw myself, wanting to be at the top. So what helped me to not give up was just visualizing myself being there. So, there would be challenges along the way. I'd fall, but I wouldn't give up, because I'm like, no, this is where I want to be. So I have to get there. So I do what I needed to do in order to get there. And I feel like giving up is very easy, but once you tell yourself that you want to be here, it'll just yeah, you'll get there.
You have to. So it's
You
that
have
idea
to.
you introduced to us that when you visualize your best self, that ultimate goal, that ultimate mark that you want to get, even if you feel like you're really tired, you have to get up and try again. I really love that. Then there was another question here that we had in your earlier session, when it was referring to the pressure of grade 12. That there's a lot of work that goes into being a grade 12 student, also being an excellent student at grade 12. How do you handle the pressure? Because it's a lot. I'll take an answer from you, Lindy, and I'll take an answer from Zen. Lindy, you can answer first. How did you handle the pressure in grade 12?
Ooh, okay. So what I would do is, like Zen was saying, ways to deal with stress and everything is that, you're active. So I would exercise and it would make me feel good. It would kind of help relieve all the pressure and all the stress that I'd feel from teachers, from my parents, from, people's expectations as well. So I think that's how I used to cope with the stress, and just talking to someone, unloading how I'm feeling, and also being true to how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling stressed, I'm like, okay, I'm stressed. Now what do I do? And I would, work on that. And I think that's how I managed to deal with the pressure.
And also, I think there's a matter of goal settings. Then I want you to please help me here, because if you manage your time effectively, you're able to achieve all those things that you need to, and able to manage the pressure a little bit better. Can you give us some tips on time management and how you handled the pressure in grade 12s then?
Yes, definitely. In terms of the pressure, when I really struggled a lot in matric, it was mostly because of the pressure that I put on myself. No one was saying, you have to do this, you have to achieve this, it's natural for, top achievers to always want to keep doing their best, and they can never be proud of themselves. And that was me. So I realized that for me to cope, I can't put unnecessary expectations on myself. I can't put unnecessary pressure on myself. I just need to do my best. Like Lindy said earlier, run your race. I love how we keep going to the same points to really reinforce that you need to run your own race. Comparison is the thief of joy. If you keep looking on the other side, you compare where your stage 1 to someone's stage 20, of course you're going to feel pressure, but it's you pressure on yourself. So really just focus on yourself. And with the time management, spend your time on yourself. Don't spend time looking at other people. Don't spend time on that. Really prioritize, know what you have to do first, do the hardest things first, kick that procrastination. It's really easier said than done. But if you try it every single day, start your day off with the difficult tasks. It's just little things like that take the pressure off of you at the end of the day.
I love that, Zen, that if you're focusing on yourself and you prioritizing the tough things first, because procrastinating means that you just want to do all the easy things. I mean, by the time you have to get to the really tough thing, you really don't have the commitment to see that through as well as you should. So starting with the tough thing first makes it so much easier for you to get through to the rest, because you also so proud and motivated of yourself, like, oh, okay, I did that thing, I did it well. Surely I can tackle the next one, right?
Yes, 100%.
All right. I'm going to ask you ladies to give parting words to the FGLers before we play our video and we conclude the session. Any final thoughts from you, Zen?
I just want to really appreciate the time that we've spent here today. I think we can all take some great lessons. If anything, just reminders on, running your race, being able to be proud of yourself, knowing that you already are the most successful person, you are the best, 100% of you already. And, believing that, loving yourself, loving those around you, I think that's just the key to the greatest success.
Love that so, so much. Love that so much. And also, taking care of our mind, bodies, and soul to make sure that we are mentally content and happy to be able to be our best selves always. Thank you so much, Zen. We appreciate your time. You've been fantastic. Lindy, any closing words from you?
I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. You know, it means a lot to speak to other people who are kind of going through what you went through. And it's really, it feels good to, you know, guide them because you've been through all, you know, the mess and you've learned from that and you've reached to where you want to be. So it's nice to just, you know, learn from your experience and, you know, teach others that, you know, there is, you know, light at the end of the tunnel. So I just want to tell the FGLers to never give up. And like Zen said, never compare yourself to other people. It's your own race. It's your life. You know, you have to take control of your life, you know, and just never listen to what people have to say. And always be inspired and always smile, always be happy, you know? So yeah.
Yes, always smile and be courageous and be true to yourself. I really appreciate that. A big thank you to our phenomenal speakers, Ulindi Mbuya, Nozen, Winana. You guys have been fantastic, and I'm sure all the FGLers have taken things and put into their toolbox to be able to cope with the rest of the school year. We also, of course, do have a fantastic seminar coming up on the 26th. I'll tell you more about that after this quick video before I say goodbye.
A wise person once told me, dreams don't work unless you do. Today I need you to embrace what comes hard. Today I need you to accept the challenge. Today I need you to fall in love with the process. And I mean all of the peaks and valleys. I mean all of the highs and lows. I mean all of the ebbs and flows. I need you to set your internal GPS to the destination of next level and begin your trek to greatness. Your journey to the destination of graduation will be a bumpy one, but you must keep going. Stay focused and keep your eyes on the prize. As your GPS guides you, don't be alarmed when it says, keep straight, turn right on Failure Boulevard, keep driving. In a half a mile, make a left on Setback Lane, keep driving. In a quarter of a mile, turn right on Adversity Avenue, keep driving. In 2 miles, turn left on Bad Day Drive, keep driving. In 10 miles, turn right on Heartbreak Street, keep driving. And the directions will continue. But the recurring theme is, keep driving. Just like the recurring theme in this message is, keep going, keep grinding. Because your motto is, and always will be, hard work pays off. It always has, and it always will. Do you have the willpower to overcome the dark days? Do you have the willpower to overcome the rough patches? Do you have the willpower to overcome the bad grades? Do you have the willpower to overcome that professor that doesn't like you, and vice versa? Let me answer that question for you. Yes, you do. Because you refuse to let anything stop you from designing a lifestyle of your dreams. And if that means you have to power through the dark days, if that means you have to push through the rough patches, that's exactly what you can and will do. Because you understand that if you sweat now, you shine later.
Oh my goodness. It says hard work pays off all the time. It says keep going, keep driving. And if you sweat now, you will shine later. What an incredible closing message. And I think that video really wrapped up everything that our two incredible speakers had to share today. I see the comments in the chat box that everyone is really so proud of the session that we had today. I thank you so much for spending time with us this afternoon. And like I said to you earlier, on the 26th, Saturday, In 2 weeks' time, we're going to be having another session where it will be an inspirational session. And I'd love to see all the FGLers wearing the FGL t-shirts for the session. You know, you are members of a very elite club. You should be showing that off. You should be really dressed in your FGL branded wear so people know that you are elite, that you are excellent. Next week, we are joined by Julius, who is a business leader, thought leader and seasoned training facilitator and mentor. He is the Chief Executive Officer at the Institute of Internal Auditors in South Africa. He's an SA Toastmasters Club member and chairperson. He is just a phenomenal leader. He's a superstar, CIA certified. He is a CA. We'll also be joined by a female Dr. Kahimodze, who is a specialist physician and nephrologist. That's how you say it. She's based in Rustenburg, Northwest, and she completed an undergrad at the University of Stellenbosch and is currently working at the Charlotte Maclecky Academic Hospital. So she'll be telling you what that specialist thing is that I can't pronounce. I've never heard of that career path before, which is why we are so blessed to be part of this unique network of future leaders of excellence, where we expose you to really massive career options that the future isn't it right. FGLers, you've been fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you to Lisha, thank you to the president, and thank you to the team. I'll see you guys all on the 26th of March. You must take care and stay excellent, stay shining.
Hello.
Eh,
Wait, can I just
hello.
the live
Hi,
on
Anson.
Facebook